In this video, I'm going to talk about how I invested my first $100,000. After years of working and saving to the point of even doing intermittent fasting, aka skipping breakfast just to save money, I finally saved my first $100,000. But then came the big question, how do I invest this money to grow it and make it work for me passively like 90% of the internet is obsessed with? I did loads of research and poured through tons of YouTube videos and finally came up with a system that works for me after consistently investing for 2 years. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to use one of these investments and grow your money together with me. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is setting the stage. I think for me, it took me 2 years to save and invest this $100,000, and it was relatively fast for me for a couple of reasons. It really isn't easy to save and invest $100,000, so don't get me wrong, but it happened for me for 3 main reasons. So the first one is that I was lucky enough to have stumbled into a job that could luckily pay relatively well for what I was doing. And the second was that I was somewhat already used to saving money so that I could save so much in just like these 2 years because I've been frugal and this is just normal procedure for me to prioritize my savings. And number 3 is that I'm also familiar with investing somewhat so that I can rapidly deploy my capital and invest consistently. So I don't want this video to come across as a flex to show the whole world how much money I have, but instead use this chance to show transparency and most importantly help you guys in your journey. It would be really awesome if I could end up inspiring just some of you to do the same for yourself. So I really look forward to hearing some of your stories someday. I think as well, the whole world is obsessed with money, and especially this $100,000 number is really a big thing for a lot of people. Everybody wants to hit that $100,000. So don't stress yourself over it. Really just take it easy. Have a plan. For me, I want to hit that $100,000 in about 2 to 3 years. So for me, luckily everything was aligned very nicely. I was having a job with proper income. I am a frugal person and I have already prioritized my savings. I knew how to prioritize my savings and how much money I'm going to save at the end of the day, and I can rapidly deploy that money into my investments as well. So those few things have to align very, very nicely. So any of these 3 points, if you don't have one of them, it's going to be very difficult because you can have a good job, but then you don't save your money, you don't invest your money, you're just not going to have any money left over. But if you have a good job, you know how to save your money, but you don't know how to invest, then it's going to be very difficult to grow your money as well. True, you may be able to save that $100,000, but it will be difficult to grow that money onwards. So this was the perfect sort of strategy or perfect combination that worked in my favor. I hope for you guys, you can also put these 3 factors into your own favor and then kind of work towards it as well. So then we move on to the Grand Masterplan. The plan was to have $100,000 saved and deployed into 3 different sections depending on my future needs. So I wanted to have 3 different portfolios in mind while I was investing this $100,000. The first would be the short-term investment, which would be to leave it in a high interest rate bank account. I want this money to be highly liquid and I could get it out anytime I want from now till next year, because I plan to purchase a house early next year with this money, but I also don't want it to just sit there and do nothing and get eroded by inflation. So don't flame me as of yet. I know there are better ways to invest this money, but I am comfortable putting it into a high interest rate bank account for now, and I'm just going to leave it like that. If you guys have any other suggestions, you can leave it in the comments down below. The second will be a mid-term portfolio, which can be somewhat liquid if I need it to be and still earn a decent interest as well. The plan for it is to earn interest in the next 5 to 10 years without much difficulties. And lastly will be a dividend portfolio that is meant for my retirement age, and this is actually a little bit more interesting. It is definitely not for capital appreciation at all, but it's meant to produce consistent income for me in the form of dividends, like what it is called. This ensures that I have consistent income in my later years so that I can just chill out, I can do whatever I want, I can spend that money every month for my expenses and have other investments just running in the background, having capital growth, and I don't even have to touch them. I can just withdraw them whenever I need to, but I can appreciate and enjoy the entire capital growth while still spending these dividends every single month and just enjoying myself. I think it's super important that people first develop an interest in investing their money to work for it, but it's also super important to have some time-based goals in mind. My whole plan of buying a house shortly and having consistent income during my retirement age helps steer the whole investment strategy into one that works for me and is most suitable for me, and not just focusing on maximizing the most returns. I mean, if you wanted the most returns, then you can just go and buy crypto, buy Bitcoin. Now the halving is happening, everyone's going crazy over Bitcoin, then you get the most returns there. But are they the most sustainable over the long term? You have to think about that. Will you be able to sleep at night? If I have all my money, the whole $100,000 into Bitcoin, every single day I'm going to see it fluctuate by 10,000, 20,000 and everything like that. I think I'll be too excited to sleep and it'll be too difficult in order to have the stable returns every single year with Bitcoin in that sense. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but maybe invest in something that allows you to sleep soundly at night. That's going to be my priority for now. So let's move on to the first one, which is the high interest bank account. The first portfolio is the short-term portfolio where the money has to be the most liquid. So I've chosen the UOB bank account for this. It used to be the highest interest rate bank account, giving up to 5% interest for $100,000. But unfortunately for me and unfortunately for everyone else as well, it has since reduced to around 4% for $150,000. I think this is going to take effect from May onwards, which is next month. But I have put in around $30,000 into this bank account, and it is a tiered system for the interest depending on the amount of money that you put in. Since I have about $30,000 in this account, the interest will be about 3%, and I'll be receiving around $900 per year, which will average to around $75 in monthly interest. But I'm also going to pair this with the UOB Evo credit card. With that card as well, I'm going to get cash back, and if I add the cash back and the interest for the entire month itself, it comes up to about $110 total monthly. So this is really easy money and close to passive income, as I just need to leave my money in the bank account itself and fulfill the credit card requirements. I don't have to do anything differently. I'm just going to spend and eat whatever I want to as per normal, and I'm going to get that cash back. I'm going to get the interest, and that's going to be very, very good passive income. For all you nerds who are, or rather, I'm a nerd about it as well. For all of us nerds that want passive income, this is one of the best ways. You may not earn a lot of passive income, but if you're lazy and you just want to get money, this is one of the best ways to do it. The next thing will be the Singapore savings bonds. So the midterm portfolio will be for the Singapore savings bonds. In case you do not know what this is, you'll be living under a rock, or you're just not from Singapore. The Singapore savings bond is something that the government has provided for Singaporeans to have a safe and low investment for the long term to counter inflation. So you just need to buy into the bond, and it will pay you twice a year with the interest due for the next 10 years. So if you need to redeem it, you just need to apply for it, and you will just have the money back in a month's time, which is relatively liquid, but you will also have a stable return for the next 10 years or so. So I've set up this system which is called the bond ladder, because since it pays me twice a year, I have essentially bought it consistently for the last 6 months, and this ensures that I'll receive interest every single month. So I've invested a total of $35,000 into this investment vehicle, and the average interest is about 3% per year. This means that I'll be receiving around $90 every single month for the amount of money that I've invested, and at the moment that I choose to buy my house, I can always redeem the money and use it for the house instead. But until the plans of buying and securing a house is a little bit more solidified, I'm still looking around. I don't have enough money yet, so I'm just still looking around and seeing what I can save and seeing what I can buy. But until I choose to do so, I can leave my money in the bonds for up to 10 years and just receive monthly income like that, which is pretty nice. The last portfolio will be the long-term investment portfolio. This is designed to give me consistent dividends for the long term, like I mentioned before, for retirement, the ones that everybody is so invested and so interested in. Retirement is what everyone's so obsessed with. I've decided to invest into REITs, which is basically called the real estate investment trusts. Basically, they are stocks that take money from investors and they invest it into real estate. They rent out that real estate, and then they collect the rental income and they distribute it back into the investors through dividends. This is basically the same as buying those properties indirectly and earning rental income without actually having to deal with the hassle of broken pipes, lousy tenants, people don't want to pay their rent, and all the complicated procedures. I don't want to get involved in any of that. I just want to invest my money, I just want to get a return, and that's about it. The two companies that I've invested in are CapitaLand Mall REITs and Ascenders REIT. So I've invested in around $38,000 or so into these two companies. They pay on average around 5% of dividends, which is the highest of the three, but you can say that they are not as stable as the rest because they are also subjected to market fluctuations, recessions and stuff like that. But it is a good form of income, and they'll pay me around $160 every single month. If you put everything together, then it brings us to the total returns. All of these individual portfolios may not make a lot of money by themselves, but they really start to add up when you just start putting them together. So all in all, I will receive a total of $360 every single month just by leaving my money there and not doing anything extra. So you guys who want passive income, this is what you get. This is the passive income. In one whole year, I will have $4,320, and that will be enough to go on a nice vacation, probably Japan or anything else like that. And without spending any effort, I earn all this money. But Of course, that money can also be reinvested so that it can further compound and make even more money in the future. Since this is a finance channel, I am going to do what I preach and just reinvest this money as much as I can. Hopefully, this gives you guys a bit of a glimpse of how I'm investing my first $100,000 saved, and you can start to either save up or invest your money as well. If you enjoyed this video here, then you probably enjoyed this video here on how much money I made selling custom G-Shock watches. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day as usual, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye!